Welcome to the class again. In order to continue with the properties of parallelograms, let us first remind ourselves with what we learned in class 7, the properties of parallel lines and transversal. Suppose these two lines are parallel. These two lines are parallel, meaning that these two lines will not meet at any point. You extend this first line in your left, in your right, the second line also in your left or in your right. If they do not meet, then these lines are called parallel lines. Now, suppose there is a line connecting these two parallel lines. It may be this line also. It can be this line also. Okay. But let us first begin with the first line. Okay. Now, you tell me let me extend this line. Okay, let me extend this line so that we can have a complete picture. Okay, so for the let this line be called L, this line be called, I'm using the text from this line be M, and this line be called N. Okay, Emmy, you're there?
Yes, sir.
So this angle and this angle will be equal. Okay, they are called corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. Okay, these two angles will be equal. Again, same thing. This angle and this angle will also be equal. Okay, same thing, corresponding angles. They are equal. Number one, we have talked about corresponding angles. This angle and this angle are supplementary. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. Okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,
Interior,
sir.
yes, tell me. Okay. So interior angles on the same side of the transversal. What does it mean? These two angles are interior angles. That is within the parallel lines. Okay? Between these two parallel lines. So interior angles. And they are on the same side of the transversal. They lie both to the right side. So these are called interior angles on the same side of the transversal. These two angles are supplementary. That means when we add these two angles, you will get 180 degree. Similarly, these two angles are interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Interior angles, interior means between the two parallel lines, between, formed by the transversal, and formed by the transversal line N. So they together will also give you, when they added together, will give you 180 degree. So they are also supplementary. Now we have talked about 2 points. The first point was corresponding angles, and the second point was interior angles on the same side of transversal, which are supplementary. But the first point was corresponding angles are equal. Now the third point is these 2 angles are equal. These are called alternate interior angles. Alternate means one is lying on the other side and the other angle is lying on the other side. One is on the left side, other is on the right side. Interior, alternate interior. Alternate. Okay? Alternate. One is in upper portion and other is in the lower portion on different side. Alternate interior angles are equal. They are equal. So these 2 angles will be equal. Similarly, this angle and this angle will also be equal. Alternate interior angles. So we have talked about 3 points. The first point one was corresponding angles are equal. Second point was interior angles on the same side of the transversal are supplementary. And the third point was alternate interior angles are equal. This is the property of parallel lines and transversal. And further, these angles are supplementary. This is not about parallel lines. This is just about the line L divided by the line N into 2 angles. Since this is straight angle, this 2 angle will give you 180 degree. This is linear pair, just linear pair, not about parallel lines, okay? Similarly, these 2 angles are supplementary, not about parallel lines, just the straight line M and the line N. When we forget about the line L. Similarly, these 2 angles are also supplementary, linear pair.
Linear pair.
2 angles are also supplementary, linear
2
pair.
angles are also supplementary. Linear pair.
Okay. Now again, these
Okay.
are
Now
vertically
again,
opposite angles.
these 2 are vertically opposite angles.
So equal. This is not about parallel lines. Vivian, when you were talking about vertically opposite angles, vertically opposite angles, it's not about parallel lines. So these 2 angles, are also vertically opposite angle, not about parallel lines. These are equal. Similarly, here also these 2 angles are vertically opposite angle, equal, not about parallel lines. These 2 angles are vertically opposite angles made by the line, this line L and the line N. Okay, it's not about parallel lines. Okay, it's not about parallel lines. Vertically opposite angles mean when 2 lines intersect. These 2 L and N, forget about M for the time being. When line L and the line N intersect at a point, they form 2 pairs of vertically opposite angle. One of the pair is these 2 angles, and the other pair is what? These 2 angles. This is not about parallel lines. This is 2 lines intersecting at a point, so they form a pair of vertically opposite angle, and the vertically opposite angles are equal. And also they form linear pair. These 2 angles they form a linear pair. Similarly, I have shown that the down two angles also form a linear pair. That means they together will give you 180 degree. This is not about parallel lines. So about parallel lines, I have just told you the 3 points about parallel lines and transversal. The first point was I repeat again, corresponding angles are equal. These two angles are equal, corresponding angles. Okay, similarly, these two angles are this and this are also equal. Okay, this is corresponding angles. Similarly, these and these are also corresponding angle. These and these are equal. Similarly, this angle and this angle are also corresponding angle. So they are also equal. Point number 2 was these two angles are supplementary. Interior angles on the same side of the transversal. Further, these two angles are also supplementary. They together will give you 180 degree. They are on the same side of the transversal interior angles. And the third point was alternate interior angles. These two angles are equal. And these two angles are equal. This is about parallel lines and transversal. Two parallel lines, L parallel to M, and the transversal N, intersecting the two parallel lines at this point and at this point. Thank you for joining the class. We will continue with the class. Hope you all understand this. It will be helpful for your class concerning parallelograms. Thank you.